Now with the inside back attached to the outside back, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the arms. Okay, now we're ready to put the welt cord on the outside edge of the arm. But before we can do that, we have all of this extra fabric here that we're going to need to cut off. So I'm just going to bring it around the corner and kind of mark my place visually. Now we're going to go ahead and put the welt cord, and we're going to make the seam line here along the outside edge of the arm. Now folks always ask me, why am I doing that? The seam line, most people think, would be under the arm down here, and that would be the most logical place. Well, that is actually the upholster's seam line that he uses. An upholsterer builds a chair from the inside out, and that's where he puts his seam when he's covering this panel under here. The reason we have seams on slipcovers is it's going to actually help hold the slipcover in place. So we want to put the seam at the most logical place, which is going to be at an angle like this. And so that's what we're doing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pin on the welt cord. Now the great thing about this again is it's just kind of estimating. We're not committed to this point, but it gives us an idea of where we're going to put our welt cord. Now that I have my welt cord pinned onto the fabric, I'm going to take it off and sew it, and then I'm going to bring it back, and we're going to join the inside arm to the outside arm. The welt cord has now been sewn onto the outside arm. Then what you'll do with this seam is you're going to go ahead and turn it down. Now what's really important on the outside part of the arm is that the fabric hangs straight up and down, hangs on the grain. What you don't want is you don't want the fabric to be up and not hanging straight, because your slipcover will sag and pull and it won't look good. So we're going to try to get it straight as we can before we put the inside arm fabric into the outside arm fabric. The other thing you need to look at is from the front of the chair, how does the line look of where you put the welt cord? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the fabric for the inside arm up, and we're going to put it in underneath the outside fabric. This is where, if you have stripes, you can match up your stripes or patterns that you need to match. You can just match them up really, really nicely. So what I'm actually doing here when I'm pinning this is I'm pinning the fabric to itself, the inside fabric to the outside fabric. I put the pin into the seam and have it come out and go back through. And then we pin this all the way around the corner, and then we're going to take this off and sew it. Now you take your fabric for the arm section, and we're going to put it into the machine. We're going to line it up so your needle is stitching on the welt cord and your zipper foot is lined up along the edge of that. And we're just going to stitch from the front. And now you can see the advantage of this if you're trying to match stripes or patterns, in that you can control this as you sew it. You can move your fabric and you can readjust it. The side that your welt cord was sewn onto is going to be, when we flip it, the top part of your seam. So we're going to put this back into the sewing machine, and we're going to sew closer. And again, we're sewing closer next to the welt cord.